This is Ready, Set, Reiki, a podcast about Reiki, the universal energy life force. From the curious beginner to the seasoned master teacher, we are welcoming all systems, all lineages, and all levels. Reiki is a journey and not a destination, and on this Ready, Set, Reiki journey, we refer to ourselves as guides rather than hosts, as we too are traveling, supporting, and learning on this Reiki journey as well. And with that said, I am your first guide, Tracy C. Wright.
And I'm your second guide, Millie Pampina.
And today we are welcoming Gloria Grace Rand. She is a holistic business guide and energy healer for female entrepreneurs. As the light messenger, she channels multidimensional light language and Reiki energy and teaches the divine inspired love L.O.V.E. method. As an intuitive CEO copywriter, she helps you amplify your influence, create is lasting impact, and elevates your income through heart center messages. She is also an author of the international bestseller, Live, Love, Engage. How to Stop Doubting Yourself and Start Believing in Yourself. She is also the founder of the Soulful Women's Network and hosts the Live, Love, Engage podcast with listeners in over 129 countries. Gloria, welcome to Ready, Set, Reiki.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited. I'm so looking forward to our discussion today. I don't know where it's going to go, but I just know it's going to be enlightening.
Wonderful. Welcome. And so as we begin our journey today, I let our listeners know a little bit about you, but tell us about yourself.
Oh my goodness. I have been on an extraordinary journey. I started out in doing television work. Actually, I many years ago, I was a writer and a producer for a business television program called the Nightly Business Report. And then along the way, got married, had kids, we moved, I stopped doing that work. And as so often happens, I think with women, and when we hit our 40s, we start searching a little bit. And that's actually where I first came across Reiki. I somehow found that there was a woman hosting a Reiki circle in my town, and I started attending that. And that, I think, really was between that and doing some of the reading of books like The Power of Now, sort of started me on this spiritual journey that has led me to starting a business, which I never thought I would do, and just involved in copywriting. And then along the way, I was meditating this whole time. And then one day meditation said, you should write a book about love. And I thought, that's crazy. I do online marketing. What do you mean? And then, of course, it turned out that I had to write a book about love because I had to learn what it meant for me. I had to learn how to love myself. And through that, then I got involved in light language. So it's been an incredible journey with a lot of highs and lows, and healing for myself. Growing up in a family, dysfunctional alcoholic dad, mom who is married to an alcoholic, and then had to deal with that, and then losing siblings along the way. And I'm so much happier now than I ever was. And I'm so grateful for all of the different healing modalities I've done over these years. And that's why I want to be able to help others now to really love themselves, to be themselves, to be in alignment with their higher self, and to really appreciate that we are created in this divine image, and that we need to be love. That's the message I've been getting lately. I'm taking an automatic writing course, and every day it's been, your mission is to love, and that's to be love, and to just embody that. So that's what I want to do, and to help others do as well.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I'm sorry for the loss of the siblings. So I also lost a sibling as well. So that's quite a challenge to walk through. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yes. So you mentioned a little bit about when Reiki came into your life. So you kind of pointed a little bit on your timeline where that began. So tell us about that journey to Reiki.
Oh my goodness. It came at the right time, as always things do, don't they? There's always in divine timing, because
Absolutely.
I was trying to remember exactly when it was, because it was either 2002 or early in 2003. And the reason I know it was, I was definitely involved in Reiki circles in 2003, is because that was the year that my mom passed, and she passed in June. And I was attending a Reiki circle at one point, probably several months later. And during one of them, it was like all of a sudden I just had this huge release of grief that just came through. And it was so powerful. And from that, I think that's when I really started to get the power of this. And I'm like, I think I want to learn how to do this for myself. And so I did go through Reiki 1 and 2 training. I never could get myself to become a master. And as you know, life happens, and I practiced on myself for a while, and then I kind of let it slide. And then it was years later, and I guess probably once we were living in Miami, Florida at the time, and then moved up to the Orlando area. And I think once I moved up in this area, I started, I was running my business and feeling I needed something again. And so I said, I think I'm just going to go through the training all over again, because I haven't, it's been years now, a few years since I've done it. And so I got recertified again. And, and when I practice it regularly, I do feel the benefit. But again, sometimes I let stuff slide from time to time,
Right,
but it's
right,
a good thing to be able to come back to, and it really is a wonderful practice.
right. I always look at
So I
it
hope that
that you have
answers that.
an energetic toolbox. So it's good to know you have the tools
Yeah,
in the toolbox for when you need them. Wonderful.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Wonderful. So you've been on this journey for a while. So what is the common misperception about the work that you do?
Um, I I think people just, especially when I'm dealing with light language, people, number one, don't really know what that is, and so they're like, what is it supposed to do for me? What is it? And just, I'm not sure how much your audience knows about it, or how much you know about it. But it's another form. It's of energy healing, but it comes through, for me at least. I know some people write light language, but for me, it comes through my voice. So it's I wind up speaking or singing it, and it's a wonderful way of being able to, like Reiki, to really help you to become more in alignment. It's very healing. It allows you to release things that are, blocked energy, and even healing going into your your physical body, and affecting it, because it's sound. There have been lots of studies that show that music and sound really does affect our DNA. And so I think they just think it's some kind of weird thing, or it's just, or is it light? Am I doing something with light? And it's not shining a light, but it really is light, because all energy is a form of light. It's all sound and waves and particles, and it's all mixed up, and it's all for our benefit ultimately. And I think that's the best part about it.
Wonderful. I love that. Amazing. So, as you are continuing, learning, growing, what have you found to be the biggest challenge in this industry with the work that you do?
I would say it, well, I'll just say for me personally, is connecting with people and being able to communicate the benefits of it, and to be able to really educate people, and have them understand how it can help them. And I think that even still goes a little bit. I know Reiki has gotten to be more commonplace. I mean, I know they're even doing like Reiki in hospitals now, which I think is really cool. I've read about that. And so it's just any type of energy healing. I think there's still people out there that may think it's, it's woo woo and it's made up. And I was looking at something the other day where some guy was like, uh, this was years ago, but, debunking all of this stuff. And it's like, well, you probably just didn't understand it. And because I know for me, especially when I'm channeling light language, I know I'm not making this stuff up because if I try to like say a word a different way, it'll come through going, no, I don't want you doing it that way. It's like, no, it's this way. So it's like, okay, I know I'm not doing this. It's coming through. It's a higher self coming through. And so, and now I've totally lost track of even what the question was. So, but anyway,
The
yeah, I
biggest
think it's just
challenge.
trying to be able to educate people. Yeah, the challenge is it's still for me because it's still fairly new for me. I've only been doing it for about 3 years or so, and so just to be able to communicate. Ultimately, what I come down to saying is it is a language of love. It's a language of love, and that the people who do hear it and experience it feel calm and at peace and relaxed, and it's a wonderful modality. Even if that's the only thing it gives you, that's pretty good because we live in such a stressed out world that with all the things that are bombarding us. So if you can take a break for a little while and be able to release some of that, that's good for you.
Wonderful, wonderful. So you have all these tools that you have collected and you're honing in on your craft. What is something that you wish your younger self knew about this profession?
Oh my goodness. Number one, my younger self would be just shocked that I'd be doing this. It'd be like,
Isn't that
what? You're
something?
doing
Yeah.
that?
You never think at
Yeah. Well,
5 years old, right? You're going to go up and be, a Reiki practitioner. So,
yeah,
and
yeah.
light
Well,
language.
although in a way though, I would say what I would love my younger self to know is to just be open to any and all possibilities because as a child, one of the things I loved to do was sing. And I've always loved to sing. I mean, I used to sing in church choirs, and but then when I kind of left the church for a while, I stopped singing in choirs and sort of missed it. And I'm so grateful for this gift of light languages. I get to sing now, and so my dream of being a singer has come through, and just in a different way. I envision myself like Judy Garland, standing on stage. She was my idol when I was a child. I used to watch all those old movies, and it even and I took dance lessons. So I had these dreams of being like this Broadway star or something. But this is so much better and deeper, and because now it's a really way of me being able to help them to, like I said, to be able to love themselves and to know how powerful they are and to be able to release all the stuff that gets in the way of that. And so I'm so grateful. So I would let my younger self know, just keep an open mind, and just you never know how your life is going to turn out, but everything has led me to where I am. I mean, even I majored in television production as a kid, and so, well, as a kid in college, and then wound up working for a. Well, actually, I should preface this by saying I majored first in business administration and started flunking out in like economics and stuff like that, and so that's why then I changed my major. And then I just found it so ironic that I started working for the Nightly Business Report after flunking out in business. And I'm like, interesting. And then I wound up starting my own business. So it was like God had this plan for me all along. Anyway, we just, don't always see it in the moment. But now looking back, with age, I can look back and say, oh, interesting. It all kind of makes sense now.
It does.
Yeah.
Now, I always tell my kids that, like, you know what? You're not at the end of the chapter yet. Just be open to all this. It all
Yeah.
has a purpose.
Absolutely.
Love that.
Yeah.
So when it is time for you to get your Reiki tune up, what qualities do you look for in a Reiki practitioner?
Hmm. Um, well, kindness was the first word that popped into my head. Uh, and just, yeah, a compassionate heart, someone who is open, who wants to, hear what you have to say, who is wants to be supportive and help you in your healing journey. And I was fortunate that I have, when just for even getting that, being treated by people, but also in the people then who actually then wound up teaching me to become a Reiki practitioner, that they are just the most loving people. And I think that's really what you want to look for, is someone who is just exudes that. And I suspect that if someone goes through becoming a Reiki practitioner anyway, that I can't see someone who is, nasty and greedy and uh, critical being a Reiki practitioner, because I think it's not going to work, because you're going to have to go through healing anyway to become that. You're going to have to do self healing. So you're going to let go of all of that anyway. So I think it's going to be, the chances of you finding somebody who's not great, I bet, are small. I don't know this for a fact, but I suspect it's going to be small. I would think that the vast majority, 98% of people who decide to become a Reiki practitioner are doing it because they've got a big heart. They want to be able to help someone. And that being said, you know, sometimes with any profession, there's going to be people who you may not click with for whatever reason. And that's okay, because we're all unique individuals, and I believe we're all here to serve a specific subset of this, amazingly populous world that we live in. So there's certainly enough people to go around for everybody. And so if you find somebody and you're not clicking, then say thank you, and I'm going to go find somebody else, and that's okay. And and just know you don't have to be the one for everyone. As long as you're the one for that one person who needs you, that's the important thing.
Right, right. Yeah, that person will find you. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I tell my students that, we can learn in the same class, go out and we can line 12 of us up and we'll all do 12 different things, but they'll be exactly right for that one person. Absolutely
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I love that.
So you are a author of an international bestseller, Live, Love, Engage, and How to Stop Doubting Yourself and Start Being Yourself.
Right.
Let us know what books you recommend.
Oh gosh, there are so many. And I have a bookshelf over here that's like filled with them. I would say some of the ones that have made a huge impact on my life. I love anything by Esther and Jerry Hicks. I love them. The first book, I think really the first book that I ever read that started me on this path, was actually The Power of Now, by Eckhart Tolle. I love Marianne Williamson's Return to Love, because I did actually do the Course in Miracles, and that uh, I'd spent a whole year doing the lessons in that, and that was really helpful as well. Uh, there's just there's so many books that I couldn't even begin to know them all. If someone is ever looking for forgiveness work, one I love this one. It's by Colin Tipping, and it's called Radical Forgiveness, and it's a wonderful way to help with that. So that's like one of my all-time favorite books for that. So
Right. Wonderful.
yeah, I think
Wonderful.
those are kind of some of my top ones. But
Right. Right. So tell us about everything you offer. Let us know. I want to hear about this love method for sure.
yeah, the love method. So this was such an interesting thing that happened to me. Like I said, this idea came into my head while I was meditating, and so decided to open up my computer and was like, okay, well, if I wrote about love, what does love mean? Well, love turned out to be an acronym, as you were pointing out in the introduction. So, and this came to me like right then before I wrote the whole book, but it was like the L stands for let go and let God. The O is open your heart to receive. The V is value your uniqueness. And the E is embrace your divinity. And that came out and I went, well, that's interesting. Okay. I'm not quite sure what all this means yet, but that was pretty darn interesting. And so through the process, well, of course, divine synchronicity comes in too, because later that day I saw an email from Hay House where they were offering a writer's boot camp to teach you, how to write books. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess you really do want me to write a book about love, because I figure if anybody, people who, publish Wayne Dyer, that's another author I love too. They can teach me how to write a book. And so what I learned though, as in writing this book, and this is what I really want to be able to help people understand too. It's like so profound, because it's letting go of, letting go of grief, letting go of limiting beliefs, letting go of the need to control all of these things, and just being able to put your faith in God, and to appreciate how you are this unique individual and that you are divine. And so this is what I'm, offering is I want to be able to, and, have been coaching people and helping them through that to really learn how to love themselves. And that's where light language can be such a wonderful assistance, and as well as Reiki, because it can help you in releasing that. I think back to how far I've come in just the last 3 years since I started doing light language. I mean, I've done lots of different modalities over the years, theta healing and Reiki has I've been doing that as well for the last couple of years too. And it has helped me to just gain so much more confidence in myself, and this knowing now that I still love writing. I still love doing copywriting for businesses, writing for their websites and all that fun stuff. So I still, if you need help with messaging, I'm happy to help you with that. But I just felt that this work I want to be able to help people get clear, to be able to release whatever is keeping them stuck, whatever old beliefs they're hanging on to be able to release that so that they can embrace their true self. And then they can probably be able to, they may find that they want to do something different, or maybe they still want to do whatever it is they're doing. And then I can help them with that messaging then. But I know that I would not have, because I've been thinking about for a long time. I love my husband, and yet I knew that we weren't right for each other anymore. And so for years I would fantasize about moving in with my sister, and because she was single, and I'd moved to live with her in Tucson where she was living. And, so that would happen. Well, she passed at the end of 2016, and I was like, okay, I don't have that safety net that I can count on anymore. It's like, so I'm going to have to decide, do I really want to do this? And through this healing work that I've been able to do, I finally got up the courage to say, no, I love him, but our values are different. And this is not the life I want to live anymore. And so we separated, and I moved out, and so something that I, had thought about for 10 years wasn't able to happen until I was able to finally get clear on who I was and what I believed in, and to know that God has my back and that I would be okay if I did this. And because it was scary, I'm a person who doesn't like confrontation because of the way I grew up. It was a very volatile household, but I'm now knowing that it's okay. I can handle it. And I've got that strength. And that's what's this light language and the Reiki I think have both helped me to do, is to release a lot of that baggage that I was carrying around for 40, 50 years. And I've been able to release it now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that with our listeners so that they can get a sense of how deep this healing can be on this journey and how empowering at the same time it can be, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Because that's really it. It's to know to feel secure and to know that you're on the right path. It's such a wonderful feeling because I know the other side of it. I mean, when I was there when my sister died, that was the first time that had happened with me actually being in the same room as someone. The other members of my family had passed without me being there. And so, and because she was the last member of my immediate family, her death really hit me hard. And 2017, I just grieved, and all of the wonderful things I was doing in my business, like blogging every week, went by the wayside. And I was floundering, and I didn't know what I wanted to do anymore. I just really lost um, I lost my passion for it. And I was in a wonderful program at the same time, teaching me how to run masterminds. And thank heavens for that, because the support that I received from the people in that group was so wonderful in helping me move through this process. And it I just remember just feeling so lost and feeling God had abandoned me and all of this. And yet I had wonderful people around me going, no, no. In fact, I worked with one coach, and she's like, I keep seeing spiritual SEO for you. And I'm like, really? I don't know about that. Well, in a way, it's sort of is that now. It's come that way. And that's why I got the idea last year to start to brand myself as the light messenger, because that incorporates not only the light language I'm speaking, but also still the messaging that I help people with, the practical side of being online and, being able to promote your business and all that fun stuff. And I loved that. And I'm grateful for that. And so, yeah, so I am doing spiritual SEO after all. I just kept resisting it at the beginning, like, nah, that doesn't make any sense. How do I combine these two? They don't go together. And I was like, well, yeah, actually, I think they can.
Right, right. And that's that first step of healing. Myself and Millie came to Reiki due to grief as well. So that's how we began our journey moving forward. And I always tell people that, imagining kind of, a street sign or a little sign, and that says grief and hope, and walking on the path of hope through that. So that's how I kind of color it to show people that, there's a way to kind of get yourself pulled out of this a little bit, not forgetting,
Right.
but a way to heal yourself with that. So thank you for sharing all of that with us. So the last part is tell us where our listeners can find you. Can they book a session? What sessions you offer? Do you do online, in person? Let us know.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yes. Thank you for reminding me about that. I'm in a coaching program, and I thought, make sure you let people know that you can do this anywhere. So
remember,
yes,
and if you have any, groups or anything that you're a part of, let us all know.
Yeah. So so number one, I do have I have a Facebook group, a community called the Soulful Women's Network, and you can search for it on Facebook. I think I do have soulfulwomensnetwork.com, but that'll actually take you to it'll take you to my website, and I think it will take you to the Facebook group too. But you can go to gloriarand.com. That's where you can learn all about me and the different things that I have to offer, whether it is helping you with your messaging, whether it's helping you with light language. And so I do offer that as well. And in fact, I do have, if anyone would like to get a sample of what light language is all about, if you want to speak, Gloria, it's in the morning. I guess I'm not quite awake yet. Even though I've been up for several hours. I get up early. But if you go to light language, the number 4, you.com, so it's lightlanguage4u.com, that'll take you right to my calendar, and you can set up an appointment with me, and we'll do a 15-minute session so you can get a taste of what it is. And then I do offer, packages of sessions, because I do think more than, just one session, it just gets you into it, but to be able to really have the full effect of it, I think working like at least 3 sessions is a really good way to be able to do that. So you can find me I'm on social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, a little bit on Instagram, not as much anymore, but LinkedIn and Facebook are my two favorite places to hang out. And so I would love to connect with you, and love to be able to talk with you. And if I and I always say this too, is like, if I can't help you, I will try to find somebody else who can. So again, as I mentioned at the beginning, I'm not right for everybody, and that's okay. But I'm right for those people who are out there who are looking for me, and they'll find me. So it's okay. I trust that.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much. This comes to the end in the journey of my questions for you. And so on our social media page, we ask our listeners for questions. You can check us out at www.readysetreiki.com, and we can find out all of Gloria's wonderful offerings as well. But I have narrowed these questions down, and I am going to pass this over to my wonderful co-guide, Millie Pampina, who has 3 questions for you. Here we go.
Yes, and thank you, Tracy, and thank you, Gloria. Listening to a basic common thread throughout the entire experience here, Gloria, has been that as Spirit called you, they gave you an opportunity to incorporate what you had desired to get out of life, what you had, looking at, you wanted to be in theater, singing, dancing, you love to write. You've been able to bring all these things to the table in the service of yourself and others, and I just think that's wonderful. So I'm looking very much forward to taking advantage of your offer.
Wonderful.
It's very important. One of the reasons of amongst many that Tracy and I had, looked at doing this podcast was to give people the opportunity to, know what was available to them and to pursue it openly, regardless of the level of skill they had or where they were at, or if they were just curious. People tend to hold back, and we want people to really get out there and pursue it, because like you said, I'm not for everybody, but for the people who I am for, it's been a wonderful experience. So thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I'm looking forward to finding more about the light language. So as Tracy talked about our social media questions, the first one we have for you is, what does it look like when you are burnt out?
What it looks like, I am frustrated, I'm exhausted, and I don't want to do anything, and I just want to, chill out somewhere. And I've done that, and I've one time when that really did happen, I said, you know what, I've got to get away, and I booked myself a weekend at an Airbnb on the beach, because I just I need to be by the water and to be able to restore my soul. So yeah, that's being burnt out is not a fun process, and it does happen every once in a while. But we just have to find ways then to be able to bring ourselves back from that.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it that you take the time to restore you. So keep yourself.
Yeah, we have to do that.
Absolutely. So with that one, the second question I have is, what practices restore you? These are very interesting
Mm.
questions today. So,
Yeah, well, we've talked about it a bit already, haven't we? So I would say doubling down on probably doing more Reiki, doing light language, and also meditation. I've been meditating since 2009, and it was actually as I was starting my business, I got into meditation, and that that really helps. And also, I mean, it's not technically a modality, but going somewhere, doing something fun, whether it's taking my bike out and riding my bike, or going to the beach, or going somewhere where I can sit by water and to be able to just commune with nature. So yeah, so different healing modalities, and then just being out in the sun and being out and listening to the birds and feeling the breeze. That those are my go-tos for being able to bring myself back into alignment and being able to go out and do the things that I need to do every day.
and this is interesting because it's a good question from one of our newer practitioners out there, and it kind of wraps up everything you've been talking about here. I am new to Reiki. Can I use Reiki to treat myself?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And in fact, I mean, when the last time I was certified, they, uh, my teacher, encouraged me to do it every day. Just do it every day. And so I would start every morning. Um, Probably, I think I would do it after I meditated. Then I've got a lovely Reiki CD that I would put on, and then I would just sit in my chair, and I would just go through and do the healing on yourself, because in order to be able to help anybody else, it really does start. What is it? Physician heal thyself is the phrase, right? So
That's
we've got to
it.
be able to get ourselves in attunement and in alignment first. So absolutely, yeah, practice on yourself for sure. I would definitely recommend that.
Yeah, I always,
Love these questions, by the way.
well, we stress all of those ideas to, all of
Yeah.
our students and our clients, that you have to practice, 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 and that practice comes from within you.
Yeah.
Bestow the graces and the blessings on yourself, and then
Mm.
you'll have the feel for how to do that for others. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you.
So before we move forward, is there anything else you might like to bring forward or add or let our audience know?
Well, if I could make one other little plug for something else that I've got going on, I'm super excited about this. Is I'm working with three other wonderful ladies, and we are planning in the planning stages, and we're very close to formally unveiling it right now. But we are going to be hosting we're calling it the Good Grief Retreat. And it's going to be in June of next year. And I love that our initial dates weren't available. So now our dates are June 20th to the 24th of 2024. I'm
Oh,
like,
there you
this
go.
whole thing was just so divinely, it just came to us. The two of us were having lunch, and all of a sudden, this idea came through that we should do a retreat. And we started brainstorming all these wonderful ideas. And so we've got, um, it's going to be an amazing thing. It's going to be in Black Mountain, North Carolina. And actually, if you go to goodgriefretreat.net, you'll be able to find out a little bit more about it and get on our waiting list. But I'm super excited about being able to really create a space where we can do healing and transformation. So many people have experienced so much grief, especially over the last couple of years. And so we want to be able to provide some healing for that. So that's my
Yeah.
last little thing. And just remember to love yourself. That's the other thing. Love yourself. You are worthy, you are divine, and don't let anybody tell you otherwise.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Well, generally at the end, I like to wrap it up with a little tagline that I have, which is to see beauty in everything is a choice. Please choose wisely. Thank you again, Gloria. I am going to also look into that retreat. That sounds like it's right up my alley. And Tracy, I will turn it back to you. I'm your co-guide, Millie Pampina. I thank you for joining us today, both Gloria and our listeners, and Tracy.
And I'm Tracy Seawright, and thank you for joining us on Ready Set Reiki. And again, go to our webpage, www.readysetreiki.com, to find out all of our offerings. And today's episode was sponsored by Feather Sister Wellness. So check it out. It is up online. It offers a variety of yoga classes, Reiki, and Reiki training. So it is up and running. Hope to see you soon. This has been Ready Set Reiki.